morning. This is Dr. Janson. This is Friday morning. So if you're my patient, you know that's Plaster Day, the day that I make models of people's feet. I make a plaster of Paris model of the foot. You know, I think all orthotics in a way you could say are handmade. But what's different about what I'm doing is I'm making a model of the patient's foot, and I change the model to be what the foot should be, not what it is. You know, the foot as it is, like a 3D printed insole, you know, those should be very cheap. You know, maybe $100, $200 or something, because it'll help a little bit. But in orthotic, the expectation is much higher. Really, in orthotic should put your foot, as it should be. And what's different about the way I make orthotics is I get a lot of that accomplished by changing the model of the foot. So today I have a patient who has forefoot varus. And what that means is that if you could put the heel straight to the leg, so the heel bone is parallel to the leg, the forefoot is at an angle to the heel bone, like that. So this is my big toe, so the big toe is up in the air and the little toe is down. So what happens is you can't walk with your, the middle of the inside part of your foot up in the air. So to walk, the patient tilts over and really pronates with each and every step. And that causes a lot of rotation in the legs. So that's going to cause like lower back pain and all kinds of problems. So if I were making, if I did a 3D printed insole of that, then I would put a lot of stuff underneath the big toe joint, right? You just fill that in. But then you're really just replicating the problem. So what would be better is if we could modify the cast, and then get the metatarsals, parallel to the ground. Wouldn't that be better to get all the, the front of your foot lined up properly? So I have two things. I have an impression of a foot I just took yesterday from a young man. He's only 30. And he has terrible pain in his foot, and he has brand new orthotics that he paid a lot of money for. They're 4 months old, and they're like brand new, and they're very nicely made, except that they so unfortunately have a buildup underneath the big toe joint. So they just like replicate the problem. They don't really fix it. So, but luckily he found me, and I'm going to show you how I can make a better orthotic for this patient. So I have his foam here. Let me flip the camera around. Okay, so this is the, they call this biofoam. It's this special foam. It's very sensitive. Like if you looked at that little impression of my finger, you could actually see my fingerprints because it's very, very sensitive. So what I like to do is I like to change this before I even pour the plaster of Paris in there. So here the little toe joint is right there, is a low point, and then this is higher. I don't know if you can see that. But see, the heel is nice and neutral. But the foot, let me use my other hand. It's like that, you see? So the big toe joint is up in the air. So, and here I have a cast. This is actually my neighbor boy. He joined the Marines, and I said, oh my gosh. And his foot was killing him. And of course, I know this kid for years, and the day he's leaving, he says, oh, Christina, my foot's killing me. But he was a forefoot varus. So now what I did was I lowered the big toe joint. I added plaster here, and you see this is very level with the, this is all level now. So I leveled the metatarsals with the heel, so everything's all lined up. But this boy, the reason why he had such terrible pain, and he had arch pain, that was what was wrong, because he was, his big toe joint's up in the air, and he keep flipping and ripping the plantar fascia. And he came back on break like 6 months later, or whatever they call it when they let the kids out after basic training. And his pain was all gone, and he was really happy with his orthotics. They really solved his problem. So here's the young man that I just met yesterday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this is how I did it for my neighbor boy. So I'm going to lower this, I'm going to lower this with my thumbs, like this, very gently. So I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to widen the big toe joint a little bit. So give this joint, this first ray a chance, a place to go down like this. So So I'm lowering it, and I'm gonna actually so I do it on the foam. So I'm altering the impression of the foot, just very gently. You see how I'm doing that? So now I'm kind of lining up all the metatarsals now, like that. And then what I did with the neighbor boy who has the same foot type, I then add plaster as well. So I'm making this, and you can see how nice and smooth I made it here. So you can't feel it. And it increases this angle here. You see, I've increased the angle here. So the big toe goes downward like that. And that shortened up his plantar fascia, so it took all the strain off his plantar fascia. And this a boy who, when he stands, his foot is really, really flat. But you see how the orthotic made on a cast like this really supports the arch. So, so this boy was very happy. He's young. I think he's only like 18 or 19 years old. And this young man is 30. He's a little older. But I'm going to make him a nice pair of orthotics this weekend. I'm getting ready to pour it, but I just wanted to show you quickly how, it begins with the impression itself by altering the impression, and then altering the cast. And long before you make the orthotic, you try to get the foot as it should be, not as it is. Okay, I hope that was interesting. See you in the next video. Bye.